Welcome to Gem Collectors with Shawn. I am Shawn, and everything's good when I appear to you on Mondays. So, yeah, I hope everyone is enjoying this fall weather. It has certainly been pleasant down here. The only thing is, the leaves get to a certain point, and then you get either a windy day or a rainfall is the worst, and then boom, they're like all dropped off, and then they're gone. I wish that this part of the season, it was my mom's favorite time of year, would be extended longer. It seems like summer lasts forever down here in Georgia, and then fall comes and goes. You know, for me, temperature-wise, it would be fine if it was the wintertime temperature real year-round. I mean, you can put clothes on, but you can only take so much off. Hey, Georgia, summer, the older I have gotten, it is brutal and relentless feeling. So anyway, all right, we have comments. We have a really great show planned for you. I have a mix of price points, and probably almost the entire show will be done with showing you items you have never seen before in every range of price. So that's going to be some fun. And the other items I show you that you may have seen before will be discounted as well. I am going to do a special on those etched morganites, and I even sent a picture to Asif to do it the right way instead of showing you through my cracked screen on my telephone the pictures. So one of them, it is uncanny because I already told you my primary source of information for comparison is the website, and I give to them, and if you use them a lot, you should too. Jocelyn and Ralph have done an amazing job on creating the informational site, mindat.org. And, there's nothing for sale on the site. It is just really all very educational. And you can compare, like, we're going to talk about the the Peruvian mines here in a bit, and going to talk about how mines can be close to each other even, but one particular mine may produce one certain type of mineral specimen that has, let's say, 4 different things in it, but not one other. You can have tetrahedrite, sphalerite, quartz, and pyrite on a specimen, but it won't have galena. But at a mine down the road, you can find those specimens and with everything else, and they will have galena. And by the presence or lack thereof of particular other mineral associations is often how you can determine the origin of the specimen if, let's say, all you have is Peruvian for information. And then you can do a detective work on it and figure out, like there was that one specimen I had showed that was from Colorado, that's exactly how I had determined the exact mine it came from, was because no other mines had those particular mineral associations with them. So it's, that's part of the hobby, that's part of the fun, and that's where you can learn tremendous amounts of information by doing research. And it's amazing, like to inventory 6 items, which I do 2 to 3 times that for when I do a show with new items, and to do like 6 may take me literally an entire 8-hour workday. I spend well over an hour to 2 hours on some specimens, and looking closely, researching them, because remember, over the 50 years I've been collecting specimens, many times, if you obtained one, the most you would get would be like Peruvian such and such. Well, you know, Peru is a big country. The United States is a big country. You know, if you just have country, to me, that is, or like Australian, you know, whatever it might be. Well, Australia is a big place. Where in Australia? You know, at least give me, you know, the territory, or, you know, narrow it down somewhat. And that's where the provenance and the history of a piece and where it comes from is really important to the mineral collector, and adds a lot of value if origin is known, like the items coming from the Sumed mine in Namibia, to know that they're from there, and adds a lot of value. So that's part of the hobby, and that's part of the extended learning. That's rock hounding, you know, maybe 330, a little bit more advanced. But when you do that sort of thing, it really, really gives you knowledge, and you really retain it, because you're researching it, you're reading it, you're seeing it, because when you research it, they have the picture of the particular specimen from a particular mine, and the end result is you're retaining it. All right, let's get through the comments and get to our winner, and we will start the show. So first, let's see. Okay, the questions to the trivia were, now to remind everybody, last week the winner was Miss Gabby, who happened to win that set of the long selenite crystal and that selenite cat's eye sphere that was really cool, and kind of optically magnified items from one direction, and the other direction was a beautiful cat's eye. All right, so the questions for this week were, what name is given to tourmaline with no color? Tourmaline, like the beryl family, is allochromatic. In other words, in its purest form, without any exterior elements to be impurities which cause the other colors that you see, is allochromatic, meaning it is one of those minerals that its color is obtained through impurities in it, versus other minerals whose color is obtained by its chemical structure, like malachite being a copper carbonate. As part of its structure, the copper giving it its green. So question number one, that answer being acroite. Acroite, you don't hear about it often, but it is a white tourmaline, a clear white tourmaline that is in its purest form, which tourmaline has a very complicated chemical formula to start with. All right, question number two, hematite that has a unique reflective sparkle is called what? Specular hematite. And it was actually something for years, my knowledge was, of course, I was a purist from a very young age, and I remember the copper stone pieces that were really popular in the 70s and set in a lot of jewelry. And that reflective copper stone, it didn't look real, you knew it wasn't real. So I just, you know, never seemed to like it. So when I saw my first specular hematite, it looked like it was just the same material as the copper, as what they called the sunstone. And so I just made that error of assuming that just because it looked just like it, except it was silvery flashes, I thought, oh, that's a man-made item as well. As it turned out, I was wrong for several years in my mind, and realized that there was a genuine specular hematite that had that beautiful reflective property. So specular is the answer we were looking for. All right, let's get going. Happy holidays, everyone. This is from Miss Peggy, who says, sorry I didn't write last week, but I was still recovering from my surgery and setting up my husband's 60th birthday at the same time. Well, we wish him happy birthday from all of us, and of course, he is right behind me. Of course, I'll be turning 62 in January, so that just sounds really, really old to me, I'm telling you. But unfortunately, I used to not feel anywhere near that, but having had COVID, and dealing with it as long as I have had has certainly made me feel closer to my actual age than I used to. Peggy says, thank you to everyone for your thoughts and prayers. I love being in this group of amazing, caring people. Wow. I want to tell Dave that my heart is with him during this grieving period for his grandmother. I hope your mom is healing with your love and care. Malachite is such a cool mineral. To be able to have so many habits, meaning different crystal forms, pseudomorph, fibrous, crystallized, is really amazing. I'm sure there's many more minerals that have this quality, but I do love the colored green. Actually, Miss Peggy, there isn't that many that form. It's the fibrous part that makes malachite really unusual. I don't really think of too many. Some will form radial patterns that look somewhat like a fibrous kind of nature to it, but to that exact look in big specimens, I think malachite's got it. It's really quite unique in that respect. I love the free item Miss Gabby got last week. Since you aired the show on Halloween, you could have described it as an evil eye. Haha, she writes. Trivia, acolyte and specular, so her getting in the right. Please take care of yourself, Shawn. Remember, any difficult issues you are experiencing now will pass. You will look back at these times and be thankful that they are over. Find your joy. Peggy from South Carolina. Oh, those are wonderful words, Miss Peggy, and I need to be able to take them to heart better than I have been. It's been a difficult summer for me. Yeah. So, yeah, such to the point that my one oldest sister, she was concerned enough, she said, I want you to text me every night and tell me that one thing you did for yourself that day that was, something that made you feel good or positive, or, whether it was to watch an old movie or whatever it may be. And so she kind of gave me the idea of what she was trying to pull out in me. But I thank all of you, because this group is amazing indeed, as Miss Peggy said. Miss Cindy says, hello, Rock family. Wonderful to see everybody this fine day. Wonderful specimens you shared today, Shawn. We still have an open drive-in about 15 miles from home. Remember last week I commented about, I always thought, Raven and I always thought that a drive-in, because we're from that era, would be something really cool to have. And that's there. I think there's one up in the North Georgia Mountains, I think Blue Ridge or whatnot. But we just still think it's a neat concept. And with today's modern incredible stereos in cars and the way you can hook things up through Bluetooth and whatnot, you could have a pretty neat experience in a car. Dave was gone a moment ago, and he has showed back up. So I don't want him to miss what Miss Peggy had written. So Dave, I'm going to repeat for your benefit what someone said something nice about you, believe it or not there, brother. So let's see. It was from Miss Peggy. Miss Peggy Dave, she says, thank you to everyone for your thoughts and prayers. I love being in this group of amazing, caring people. I want to tell Dave that my heart is with him during this grieving period for his grandmother. I hope your mom is healing with your love and care. So Dave, that's to you.
Thank you.
From Miss Peggy, and Dave says thank you. Okay, so going back, Miss Cindy up in South Central Pennsylvania has a drive-in still about 15 miles from home. My brother worked in the concession stand of the one about a mile away. That closed down many moons ago. Many teenage shenanigans went down there. Absolutely. I mean, that's what Raven and I were talking about is, because we were cheapskates, it was, and I was the youngest who tagged along. Remember, I had two older brothers than I. So if I wanted to hang with the older brothers, I was the low man on the totem pole for everything, and that meant that the money that Mom gave them for my entrance fee was going to be kept and spent on the concession stand, and I was going to be brought in the trunk. Oh yeah, I was the trunk boy. And every time. So in the trunk I went, per head, they got in and then spent my money. And of course, here's the other rub. If I was to say anything to Mom about it, then they wouldn't take me at all. And so, you learn how to get along real early. And if you want to run with the older brothers and their friends, who were pretty cool, then yeah, I had to save them that $3 or whatever ridiculous price it was. So Miss Cindy goes on to say, and getting both the answers right, Ackroyd and Specular, got to another rock show on Saturday, and I think she's saying that she picked up some celestite, gorgeous rainbow pyrite on all matrix from quarries in south central Pennsylvania. That's always neat to be able to get the local material. Black obsidian, aurora quartz, she writes treated but pretty. No, it isn't. If it's treated, it can't be pretty. Only Mother Nature makes things pretty. Man in its self-created colors cannot not do the same. That's where, it's the, hang the garlic around the specimen so it doesn't rub off on you. Like the bismuth crystals, okay? A lot of people don't realize that those really cool geometric shaped bismuth crystals with all that iridescence to them, they're man-made. Not that nature can't grow them like that, but it doesn't. And people buy them, I see at the shows, and they're not expensive and they're cool. You will not find a single one ever in my collection or offered. Not even to say I had some bismuth. Yeah. It's fun to play with at the bench, though. Anyway, some Australian opal rough and black witch's cauldron filled with mystery rocks. Pretty happy with all that. Took my ultraviolet flashlight for the first time. Don't be afraid to take your tools to these places and whatever you're comfortable with for looking at things and doing identification. I mean, that's where, of course, if you find it in hydro in a specimen, you don't tell the vendor, you just buy it for the price and make off with the bonus profit for yourself that way. So, sometimes it takes more than normal tools. And a UV light, I am not caught without one. Plus, also higher magnification than 10 power. Also a flashlight. And usually I carry 2 to 3 of them, different wavelengths. And I've got a couple other tools I'm going to show you in a bit. All right, let's see. Miss Cindy says, enjoy your week, everybody. Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania. Fave of the show, number 258, no doubt, is the Finland Spectralite. Harry says, hey there, Professor Shawn and all the awesome gang at GSN and Lovely Raven and my brothers and sisters in rock. Happy Halloween to you all. LOL, you caught the play on word with them darn snapping turtles. Yeah, that was pretty cute there, Harry. Awesome. Thanks for the info on the 2 different species of the malachite. I totally understand. Thank you. Got the dravite and a star ruby. So nice. Can't wait to play, he writes. Way to go, team, Shawn and Lateef. I'm glad to hear you give your support team their due because you are as good as your production, and I'm impressed all the time. That's what I say all the time. Whether I was here or upstairs in the live shows, I always gave my cameraman, there's a couple of different ways you can convey a message to the cameraman without ever tipping the apple cart, so to speak, in the relationship between the cameraman and the host is a real important one. And, they do their job. It's a great job to do. It is not the job of the host to tell the cameraman how to do their job. And, if they've been doing it long enough, they already know. So, and if is some way that you want to convey something, you can do it just through the way you word how you talk about the piece. Like, and over here to this corner, you can find, et cetera, et cetera. And then they know to go to that corner. That's the way to do it without, without anybody's feelings like, like you're telling them, like they don't know how to do their job. So I am glad that you noticed that, Harry. And yeah, we actually joke about that, because I'll joke about, okay, Dave, if you'll make this opal have more red in it, I'd really appreciate it. And, that kind of thing. But that part, only humor. I totally agree with Barbara, what she said about the slow. Hey, gang, thanks for all your loving care, asking about my getting well from my cold. And yes, finally got better and continue little by little. And I will have to try the oxygen Shawn mentioned. Interesting, and I agree, oxygen is oxygen. Susan's doing great, by the way. Thanks for all your prayers and nice thoughts. Never knew selenite does cat's eye effect. I do now. Oh, please talk about what we did to this, to what we did to, the original native people. Such a travesty. Love, love, love the arrowhead. LOL. I'm also laughing at your citrine price tag. Nice stone color. Ooh, nice pink tourmaline. Question, is malachite stone dust a poison? Hey, sorry about Dave's mother. Get him home and take care of his mom. Your malachite question. Absolutely. Okay, so the dust from malachite is poisonous. So that's not something that you want to be able to sit and do without water running on it if you're in a grinding process. Now, if you're in a polishing process and you're using just like the oil-based diamond compounds, then you're not spitting up any dust, you're not creating a dust environment, and then you can do it. Now, a lot of times you could just be wearing a mask anyway, which is always a, since we're kind of more used to that than we used to be. So if we're cutting certain material that creates a dust, then yes, that is always recommended, no matter what the material is. But malachite in particular, now remember, anytime, if you ever had aquariums, which I had at one time for like 14, so I'm really into aquariums and fish, and they always say, certain these like antifungal products, certain other products actually contain copper. And it is because copper is completely deadly to aquatic animals, a lot of other funguses and whatnot, and it's a killer indeed. So a lot of animal systems, including man's, cannot deal well with copper. And so the copper dust from malachite, is absolutely something you do not want to inhale. So good question on that one. Question 1, clear tourmaline, ecrolite. Question 2, crystal structure, also called specular hematite. Well done. Well, guys, see y'all next week. Much love to all of you. And Shawn, I hope the family issues get resolved, and I will pray for you all to be at peace. Okay, that's all, folks. Didn't have a choice with Raven being sick, and went down the family road, and we'll see how it turns out. It's kind of sad, but I'm, at least my dad isn't seeing this side of it. He only got to see the initial happy side. But family, like I think a lot of us have gone through that with family. Mr. Anthony says in Massachusetts, another groovy show by the forensic historical geologist and his band of techno rock hounds that we all know and love. I like when you speak on the goings-on behind the scenes and the crew. I just feel a little deprived not getting to see Raven's Halloween outfit. I told her that, and I really wish everyone could have seen her. She was quite the Raven and looked really cool. I think, what is she, 56 now? So yeah, she was definitely my hippie chick in a hippie chick Halloween outfit. Like you would, it fits her perfectly. I don't call it a costume because I know she made it and put it together. That's artistic passion. Wow, that is so wild that I just read that after that, Mr. Anthony, because that's exactly it. She is told from so many other ladies around here that they love her sense of fashion, and she didn't even know she had one, but she certainly does have a style. It's very simple, but it's, a little bit definitely on the leading to the hippie side, and very creative. And she actually picks her jewelry first and dresses to her jewelry. She left, I think she left. She was supposed to leave, remember? Some pieces to show you last week for her Halloween pieces. But today, she had so I'll get it from her, a really cool kyanite specimen pendant that I wanted to show you how kyanite can be used. So, anyway, yeah, Mr. Anthony, thanks for noticing and saying that. Anthony's in front of his bench on my cabinet shelves are mineral specimens along with a mixed array of other items. That's what I see when I lift my head from work. That's exactly what you need to do. When you lift your head up, you don't want to see a blank wall. You want to see inspiration. And that is exactly what I see across from me. And no matter which way my head turns in the house, there's inspiration. That's a great way to put it. That's not clutter, that's inspiration. That's what I see when I lift my head from my work. One of those specimens, 2 1/2 inch cube of specular hematite, very sparkly, I love it. Got it from you, by the way, Mr. Shawn. I do not however, have any acroite tourmaline on that shelf. I really like hearing the comments from everyone. Glad to hear Harry is doing better. 50-year date, pretty cool, Miss Cindy. Wonder how Miss Ursula is doing okay. Hope she's okay. Yes, I know. I still have not heard from Miss Ursula. So let's hear from her and say some prayers for her, because she was every week writing. And, you know, that's only the sad thing. If something ever happens, family members aren't aware that she's part of a group like this and how much we'd like to know to care about her. If anything has happened, they will never know. And, yeah, I was just thinking of a back doorway. I could maybe send her a message from all of us, which I may try if we don't hear from you. So, Miss Ursula, give us a shout out there if you get this and hear us. We want to know that you're okay. Let's see. So I did get into the closet with that lapis specimen. Nice, he says. However, my shortwave UV lamp not doing too good. I need to go shopping for a new one. Hope everyone's Halloween was nice and creepy. Eyes down. Miss Gabby writes, greetings and salutations once again, everyone. Speaking of spiders, I had my trivia win from a few years ago. Silver spider pin out yesterday. I know the one you're talking about. That is so neat that you got a silver pin that you won in a trivia contest years ago. Out. That's neat. And it seems selenite and Miss Gabby are just meant to be together. Thank you much. I didn't have a large crystal. Trivia, acroite, and specular. Wow. For you, Miss Gabby, to not have a large crystal of selenite is really something else. You know, the neat thing about those large crystals, everyone, if you had heard or are familiar with the Nika mine, which is where those specimens came from. It's a big kind of a mining district, but large extensive mine is also where they broke into that huge natural living geode, and they keep it pumped out because the crystals were still actively growing, and they're going to reflood it when they're done. The scientists are done, and it's where they were selenite crystals, and there's pictures of men or researchers standing next to them, and they're like 50 and 60 feet long, 3 and 4 feet in diameter, and they are, you know, just, it's amazing because they're going in all these directions. You know how I always say I wish I was really small to go into these little pockets that Dave shows us with the camera? Well, that would give you the feeling of being that little person, because this is this giant room with these crisscrossing selenite crystals, and how amazing is that? You know, nature, like that large, that no one ever knew for hundreds and hundreds of years that there it was existing in the ground, waiting to be found, and never anything like that found anywhere else. So I just happen to know that, well, let's see. She didn't have a large crystal. Trivia. Let me see if she, on this next page, writes anything else. Yeah, she says, good luck with the family situation. Thank you. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure most of us can identify with it. Be well and stay safe, everyone. So for, I know that Miss Gabby has gotten some of the other amazing selenite specimens from that you know, because there's the fishtail selenites, there's the clear selenites, the twin selenites from that area. But to not have one of those large crystals in her selenite collection is really amazing and stunning, and that is what is magical about this show, is that the right specimen to the right person. The other thing is that the large crystal that she won is what is the most identical and similar to those giant crystals that crisscross that big open pocket. So, you know, it's not the fishtail crystals. They don't mimic anything else except the big one that she won. And she didn't have one like it, so that's pretty neat. Miss Elisa in Florida. Hello, Professor Shawn, the lovely Raven, who happens to be with us today, the whole day. The lovely Raven, GSN crew, and Rock family. Hope everyone had a great Halloween. Harry, you had me laughing so hard over the origami snapping turtles. Dave, your camera work on the Connecticut pre-night was awesome. I'd say that was my favorite item of the show, or maybe the peach still bite. Good choices. I don't think I could have just one favorite item. Haha. My answers to this week's questions, Acrowhite and Specular Humanite. Have a good week. Everyone stay safe. Nicely said, Miss Elisa, in your compliments and comments. Miss Barbara. Hi, Professor. Raven, GSN crew, and the whole Rock family. Yay, this week everything worked out fine. Yes, it did, Miss Barbara. I know it seems odd to get an attaboy when things go right, but these days we are so quick to complain when things go wrong that I thought it only fitting to balance out cosmic energy with an earned well done. It does make a difference. Supportive criticism. My mom always used to say, if you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all. And why I haven't spoken to my siblings in a while. I'm just kidding. But I do think about that, and it really is a great kind of rule to live by. She goes on to say, but these days, quick to complain when things go wrong. We do live in a nitrogen ocean. It's interesting when they study the cause of color in diamonds. They surmise that certain crystals are modified closer to the surface and access our vast nitrogen source not available at depth. Nitrogen inclusions and deformation in the carbon lattice give us yellow color. Cool. It is cool. Let's see, let me get that right. Cool. O2 therapy. Great idea for a pick-me-up when you need it. But make sure no one walks in with a cigarette. Boom! Will be the last thing you hear before the heavenly chorus. O2 gave us many things like super large insects and animals, but also our worldwide iron deposits. The iron oxidized and precipitated out of seawater dramatically, changing the color of the ocean and creating vast mats of iron compounds on the ocean floor, which over time got compacted into the iron ore deposits we mine today. Yeah, it's a lot of people don't realize in the original forces of the earth how exactly things got laid down, how formed, how they got created. And the other thing is manganese deposits are vast on the ocean floor as well. And so it's pretty interesting. You know, waves tend to concentrate things also. So it's an amazing working clock, Mother Nature is, with all of its moving parts to reach all these amazing goals in time as time marched on. Quite something. Miss Barbara goes on to say, congrats to Miss Gabby for winning the Nika specimens. Another instance of Shawn World matching the right gift to the right person. Play the Twilight Zone music. Do, 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 do. Enough from me. Enjoy the lovely weather while it lasts. Don't forget your seasonal flu jab and be well all. Barbara from Brooklyn in New York. She says also, as to the trivia, Acrowhite is colorless, pure tourmaline, which is quite rare since it is allochromatic and usually pulls in all sorts of inclusions affecting color. To say nothing of its garbage can of a formula, complex borosilicate indeed. Specular hematite is the sparkly disco version of that iron oxide mineral. So Miss Barbara getting the answers right there. Well done. And the thing about oxygen, a lot of people kind of get that a little bit wrong as far as it going boom. What makes it go boom is it acts as the oxidizer to a environment that is ripe for an explosion, and by the addition of pure oxygen can create the massive boom, whereas otherwise you wouldn't get it. So, of course, when I light my torch, I have two choices, a propane and the oxygen. You light the propane, you just get a flame like you would out of a Bic lighter. But as soon as you turn on the oxygen and feed the oxygen into that yellow flame, that's where you can reach temperatures high enough to melt platinum, even with a propane torch hitting the degrees upwards of 3,000 degrees. So I have the two choices. Luckily, all the propane, all it does is poof light. If I fail to light it or fail to turn it off all the way, they put a smell in propane so that you can detect it. Other than that, it would be another one of those odorless gases that, like carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, that kill so many people in their sleep. So that's what they do with propane. So if by accident, let's say, I turn the oxygen on and go to try to light the oxygen, which I have an automatic little spark lighter, it actually does not go boom. So oxygen in its pure form can increase the effectiveness and power of an explosive. Like if you had a pure oxygen environment and then put something ignitable into that, that would be quite an explosion. But oxygen by itself, thank goodness, because I don't know how many times instead of turning on the propane, I turn on the oxygen and then try to light it, and it won't light. And then I realize, oh, I got to turn on the propane and then the oxygen. So we have a lot of fun with our torch and with our having the pure oxygen when you need that little extra oxygen boost. Ciao, Professor Shawn. This is Mr. Charles, GSN crew and Rock family. Great show this week. Dave had some epic camera work going. Boy, I tell you what, Dave got the compliments this week. Mr. Anthony, you have impeccable taste, sir. Good, sir. I was fixing to get the Star Ruby and Sapphire you bought. I hope more come up for sale that strike my fancy. I suspect there will be. That's all. I want to keep it short so Shawn can show and tell us more rocks. With love, Charles. Favorite specimen term related quartz. So unique. Question 1, acrolite. Question 2, specular. Very good, Mr. Charles. We are so happy to have you as part of the Rock family. And you just seem like you fit right in with the group. So we love you back. And great comments, and it's a big part of this show that doesn't get to be part of any other show here at Gem Shopping. This is unique to this one, and I am glad that everyone appreciates it for the time spent that we do it. Okay, that said, with all the right answers, we assign a name to a number, randomly pick that number when I ask what it is, and this week the answer, Miss Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania is the winner, and I tell you what, let's show you what you have won this week, Miss Cindy. This is pretty cool because I don't think I have any others. And, you know, it's something, look at this, the Russian Heliodor. And this is an item that is true Heliodor. True Heliodor. Heliodor was originally given a name for a barrel that, as you can see, is a greenish yellow, kind of a greenish yellow color. Now, of course, they'll say Heliodor and assign the color to pretty much any color barrel that's yellow, yellowish. But look at this. So you can see, oh, there's a little bicolor. Look at that, even little faint blue line right there. That's kind of neat to see. But these are facet grade quality. And I tell you what, of course, there's nothing Russian that is even available to get anymore. So don't hold it against the mineral specimens. They couldn't help it, but they will certainly add. Look at that. Look at that faceted gem that would cut. They would certainly add to a wonderful collection, something so unique as that. All right. So enjoy. Okay. Let me tuck those away, and we'll be right back with the start of the show. You know, it's neat to see. I'm glad he pulled up the entire graphics because it shows you the circle on this. And normally, I wouldn't put such a thing on such an item, except for the fact that before Dave even saw the graphics, he said, wow, those are really cool. Those are leaves. He goes, I've never seen anything. I said, I know. I said, I have had these since the mid-'70s. I was probably 15 or 16 when, I remember when I got them because I thought they were really cool. But look at this. Okay, so let me turn this around. And this is, you get the suspension box and, well, that's kind of neat. So you can see the back of them and you can see how well they match. And I'll just pick the one loose one up for you then. And you can see what a high grade of British Columbian nephrite that they are, and a wonderful polish. So I thought, you know what, this is fall. This is a great time to offer them for sale. And you can see the thickness of them. So, and against my finger, it's a really beautiful, beautiful quality. And to, like, if you were to cut and make these, it would be quite the effort. Okay, so let me put this one right back here for the moment. And there's only going to be one set ever, and this is it. And these, to have around, I do remember I actually made a piece of jewelry decades ago. It was just dawning on me with just one of them. And it was simply amazing because of the natural, organic nature that the leaf gave the piece of jewelry. And the leaf was offset, and the stem to the leaf, I remember using a narrow, straight baguette. So it was very cool. But I don't know if I'll be getting around to projects like that anymore, so I am going to turn them over and to someone else. And just to have them as part of a collection as carved leaves, if you never did anything with them, would be really nice. $24. That's why I laugh. $24 for all 6. I mean, I actually paid, you know, I don't know what. Oh, wait, hold on. I actually had the original little, I didn't bring it, the original little gem tube that I had them in, and you could see, could have seen my writing from on the back of it and all, and you could see the impression of the leaves that it left in the foam of the gem tube after being there for decades and decades. So anyway, 24 bucks, nice quality stuff, and it's one of those things that you just, if you were looking for them, you would never find them. All right, something else really rare, 108. 2222, and I was looking at searching the inventory and looking to see if I had ever offered what I'm getting ready to show you from as a parcel before, and I offered one time. It was a couple years ago. Okay, so here's where the story starts. Many years ago, I remember taking apart a pin. The pin was Russian hallmarked, and it, which are very, very obvious when you have Russian hallmarks. So it was an amazing pin, except it had seen all the life it had to give, and it was basically not even wearable, not recoverable. It had enameling on it as well that had, broken out, so that would have had to be fixed. It just was not restorable. But what it had to give up in the accent stones as part of its treasure, I knew I would never find again. It had a large number of amazing old cut Russian demantoid garnets. Look at these. This item number, 1082222. Look at these. Now, when you look at them really closer, they have cutting that is, if they were diamonds, it would certainly be from an error. I put these, as early Victorian, which would, let's say, be around 1860. They're really probably, the piece would probably really more Georgian. So into the King George era, which would put them prior to 1860. So you're looking at the early 1800 to 1850, probably is a realistic time period for when these would have been found and cut. And here is the cool thing. This may not work. I just want to see it for a moment, Dave. Okay, yeah, it does work enough to give everybody an extra little look as David works his additional magic on these stones, and they're cutting. So they have such old cuts to them. Well, let's go back to that other setting there, Dave. Maybe we can get, if I guess I had a third hand, there we go, a third hand, I could probably add some more light to these. I mean, maybe we can get Raven over here. She'd be too afraid to get it. All right, look at these. So you have a pear shape, but they're basically would be old mine cuts. Look at that one. Okay, see the square table and the roughly cushion shape to the outside. And they are just free form cuts. And here's the really cool thing, okay? Under a much higher magnification, there are some that actually have the horsetail inclusions in them. And I'm going to show you one of my little gizmos I use. Let me turn that for a moment. And everybody should have items higher than 10 power magnification. All right, so you can see how clean these are. Now, we'll go to the regular shot so you can see the brightness to the stones. There we go. And they have a brightness that nothing else does, because remember, if it's demantoid, remember, demantoid means diamond-like. And they are going to have that high dispersion and high refractive index that truly makes a difference and sets them apart from any confusion with Savorite or anything else. And yes, so horsetail inclusions, that's little asbestos hair-like inclusions. They can be found in these stones, but some and most are actually so clean that they don't have any inclusions or very few. All right, I am offering up 10 more stones. These are from that piece. I know exactly where they came from, and for the item that was hallmark, the Russian hallmark. So yeah, origin without a doubt. Oh, this is when the demantoids were available, and it was like finding a treasure, old, really good stuff. And, you can see the many different shapes. If someone like Mr. Anthony wanted to recut one, there's one here that you could clean up into a really nice little emerald cut if you want. But I love you can only really date them by the cutting. The cutting is what gives away the age, and the fact that I know the provenance of it, because that's the difference. I was the one that took them out of the pin, so I know what they came out of. So I know how old they were. These are a real treasure. I'm going to offer them for the same price I offered the other 10 for so many years ago, and they sold straight away. So if you want them, get in on them. They're $48. Only $48. And for Russian demantoid, that is a really treat, because let's say, so they're less than, they're $4.80 a piece on average, less than $5 each to get something so cool and so rare. Now, I have, and like I said, maybe I will bring in at some point, maybe sell some of the items of equipment like the microscopes I have. I have And remember all these years when I had the buying office, I would get all these people sent to me from lapidary equipment to rocks, rock counting things. And And so I would make offers, and I'd be able to get these items. So I have collected a lot of equipment and a lot of cool items besides also rocks and minerals over the years. And so that's how I wind up with more than what I need. Like I have like 6 or 7 steamers and whatnot, which are very expensive, but I can sell them really inexpensively. Even benches. So Fordhams, I can't tell you how many things I have. And Shawn needing more money needs to convert some of those items to cash. Okay, so though as part of this show, we always do some little extra things. Let me show you. Instead of getting a real expensive microscope, like well, some of the kind of GIA sells, but you can get ones not from there that do everything one of those fancy ones would do and be a lot less money. But still, a good one is still many, many hundreds of dollars. Unless you go to Shawn's bargain brand, bargain no-name brand store for cheapskates. All right, I'm going to take this away for just a moment. Look, you can see this. All right. Look at what I have. I told you I was going to show you some really cute pieces of equipment. This is a portable microscope, and it is amazing. Okay, so there is a light, boom, right there. Now, you look through there, and we can't really, let's see, let me just put this. Dave can't really shoot through there because we already tried it, believe it or not. But if I... of course you're going to believe it because that's what we do around here. We experiment. Of course, we can't help but try. Oh, we already tried. We won't try it again. I was just wanting it to work because you see this little gizmo here, this little lever? This goes from, it says right there, from 60 power, see 60 power on up to 120 magnification. A loop, a jeweler's loop is 10 power. So the lowest power this is 60 power to 120 power. So there's your adjustment. Now to focus, you just turn this. And it is amazing at how well it works. So, you just put this over the item. So like on this, all you have to do on the tube, all I did was there, and I moved the tube around to find the stone I want to see, and then focus and put the magnification power on it, and boom, guess what? That's how I could see the horsetail inclusions. Isn't that neat? So you can find this, it doesn't even have a name on it. Oh, there we go. There we go, right there. You can find that and get a really good deal on it. Now, let me show you one other item. If you ever wondered how you sort stones of various sizes, round stones, it is one of these. And I'm showing you this because these are not, you can imagine, these are not inexpensive. Oh, through this, then through this? Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'd have to set it up. So they're talking about how using this through using a telephone, shooting it through that lens, if we had it set up.
So get that lens out of there, just shoot the thing with the phone.
Oh, just like that.
Shoot the gemstones with the phone. Get a better phone.
Yeah.
And then
You're right.
shoot the teeth. That's better than
You're right. You're right. I actually have those other gizmos to hook up to that and then get that shot with that horsetail inclusion. That's a neat gizmo. Okay, so here is, they make these gem sieves, and you can, they come with a complete collection that's numbered. Now they're out of sequence right now because that's what Shawn does, is get everything messed up and out of sequence. But you can see how many different sizes and how small the variance in size the holes are drilled. Now these have to be done really accurately, and it has to be done, the cheap quality ones just won't work because your stone will get hung up by little burrs on the holes, etc. So you have to get one good enough quality. They do have different qualities of them. And so all you do is start dropping in the different sizes you want, and then it will sort the exact, you shake it and it will absolutely, by roughly 1/10 of a millimeter or less, organize and sieve out the different sizes of your round stones in a hurry. You can also use it to sieve, let's say, particles of gold, mini gold nuggets and whatnot. You end up finding other uses for it when you have cool things like this. So if you ever wondered how that was done in a hurry by way of sieving out different sized diamonds to match pieces instead of like measuring every single one, well, that is the gizmo that does it. All right, just a couple of items to increase your knowledge on equipment and its uses as well. Let me put those away. We'll be right back. Okay, I found this tucked away, and was wondering kind of why, because I would have pulled it out of one of those flats like Anthony got. Very smart to buy the Epidote by the entire flat when I was offering them. Now, I wish I had them back. So anyway, and I know why. Because of the size of the Epidote crystals. They are really large on this particular specimen. And as we explore it closer, here is the really interesting thing about some of these. You can find all kinds of other minerals at times in them. And then as we get into all the little areas, you will see that it has an assortment of sizes. But everything that you're seeing is an Epidote crystal in one form or another. Now let me show you and add a little light to some of these areas and backlight some of them. And you can see that it's just crystals everywhere. And then some of these are really, really gemmy. And then some of the big ones, you can see from the edge how they carry forward a translucency to them. And that's why this one was different than so many of the others, is for the size of the Epidote. Really, really pretty. And this is one that with magnification, you can just have a whole lot of fun looking really closely at the crystals and the little pockets that they have been growing in. Like, look at this one right back here. This is a really nice, large. You also get to learn and understand the shape of the crystals and how it relates to the different type habits that you would normally find it in and what you might be seeing it in. Let me power this up for a moment and bring in a little bit more light to see everything you're seeing is a crystal, just of a different size, and really, really nice piece. Look at that. And then when you get the reflection out of some of these of the crystal and get to see the translucency,
before it was because of gain.
it makes it really,
And it fixed that.
really pretty. So all that for the price of only $24. Only $24 on that one. Wow. And so that, I said, like I said, for a big Epidote is a value. All right, now next I have for you, well, I'll show those in a moment. I'll show that in another moment. Oh, here we go. Item number 108-1722. 108-1722. And this piece is, well, you know, gem shopping, we used to sell so many loose gemstones. It was crazy, the number of loose gemstones that we would sell. Now it's been, you know, a lot more limited. But here I still come up with some oldies but goodies. Let me show you this. This is in an old gem tube and black star diopside. These were the ones that would show up at your door in a little envelope with some kind of promotion or offering to get your attention, and they'd be these little cut cabochons, and it would say Star of India, and they would be these genuine black star diopside, maybe half carat, these small little cabs, and they would have that amazing 4-ray star in them. And I just thought it was a pretty cool promotion-wise thing to do, and it was using a gemstone, an unusual gemstone. Of course, they were very inexpensive, just as this one is. Look at that 4-ray star. Now, the problem with a lot of the Indians, the diopside stars, were the lots of inclusions. Look at the surface of this one. This happens to be a really, really high quality one, and why I had kept it as part of my optical stone collection. So one of the collections I had was stones with optical anomalies. So cat's eyes, stars, you know, even stones at 12-ray star gems, just different unusual optical properties. Look at that. And this was in that collection because it was just a really nice high quality piece. Look at that. Look at the back of it. So just really, as far as a 4-ray star diopside, that's really one of the nicest qualities of any of them that I've seen, especially since it has very few other inclusions or surface reaching flaws that most of them have. 12 by 10, 7.5, yeah, so it's calibrated right on the money. And this stone is, again, decades old. And price on it I have is exceptional. Only, ready? I only have the one, and to sell it for this is even silly. I just should absolutely keep it. But it's going to be a mind-boggling value for somebody at the lowly price of $14. I know, I kid you not. $14. Item number 1082622. 1082622. And let me show you what goes with that number as I get it out of its multi-layered packaging. Wow, this is very, very cool. Okay, ready, set. Look at this. Look at that. Yep. That is probably the largest actual cavern-site mineral specimen that I have had. Out of all the cavern-site specimens, the actual physical size of the crystal itself is larger than really any of the others that I have seen. And it also has a really unusual habit, or crystal habit. Now, there's something also that's completely different with this specimen. And the fact of, remember, cavensite is that mineral that I said is one of my favorite names given to a mineral because it gives you so much information. Cavensite, it stands for basically the elements that make it up. Ca for calcium, Va for vanadium, and then you have Si for silicon, and then it has oxygen as well. And that's what is in cavensite. So very informational name. Now, look at this. Okay, see these white crystals, and with additional magnification, look, you can see the little radial projections coming away from them. And when you look around it, you'll look at that. Look at those right in there. Wow. Wow. Dave's big screen TV, the other one that I should really have for my monitor, really shows them up well. So it tells me what it would look like at home. And what you're seeing, which is really good because I can really see it on the big screen so much better than the little monitor screen I'm looking at. Look at these. Look at these. Okay, okanite. It is okanite. When have you seen a cavensite specimen associated with okanite? Now, Dave pointing to over here. The other very cool thing about this is, okay, it's from the same quarry that the other specimens were mined at and from, but there's also stilbite. There's also stilbite, and so stilbite, like is most commonly associated with, is going to be not the white material, but more the clear material that you'll see, and like these are going to be stilbites versus the white crystals. And then you can see how the okanite has, there's some more, oh yeah, this is what I want to show you. Okay, you see these crystals, then let's look right over here. This cluster is more the traditional look of cavensite crystals, where they have individual crystals come up. Okay, what I want to express to you is that with many of the other cavensites I sold, you'll need to look and check. There is a very similar mineral called pentagonite. It looks the same, and except it'll have a more elongated crystals. Look up the difference between pentagonite, which of course, if you're talking about, you know, penta, what it means is going to be something that's going to be maybe five-sided. So some relationship to that probably. But this is crystals, and this is more bladed crystals, completely different. So that is a real unusual formation that I have not really seen. So you have stilbites, you have the basalt that is the base of many of the specimens coming from the quarries there, and then okanites, the okanites, which are really cool to have, especially under magnification, where you can see their crystals radiating out from the center. Now remember, okanite can also make those spheres of crystals, which is most commonly the way it's seen. So this is a really, really interesting specimen. It has a large section of cavensite with, just really shows itself well. It displays itself without need of any kind of stand. And look at that. Look at how beautiful that is. So that is one that you're not going to see in that form and that quality. And I am offering this one for only $58. $58. And I not gonna have anything else even similar to show you. Because remember, as we get towards, as time moves on, you're going to get into a lot of our own personal favorite specimens that we wouldn't normally let go of, but we are. So take advantage of them. Because a lot of times maybe it's emotionally only one time we're able to show it before it gets put back in the house. So let me make sure that one gets put away safely, and I'll be right back. Okay, just like it was in its natural habitat the day you picked it off the rock and then steamed it open for dinner, a 100-million-year-old mussel. I happen to really like mussels, the green mussels, the blue mussels from around the world. Well, this is a mussel that eventually, little did it know, it would continue on its life 100 million years later, and at a regal level. It is opalized. It is one of those rare fossils coming out of Coober Pedy. They're also found in Lightning Ridge, where the opal, just like in petrified wood, except it's opal. It's opalized. The opal replaces, in the case of Australian items, many of them are organic items from the sea, like belemnites, like clam shells, mussel shells, these kind of things. So let me show you. I had no idea. I'd actually offered this piece before. None of you bought it. And then something happened on my way to gem shopping one day. No, I was looking at this piece again, and I actually don't remember it missing this little area. So I don't know what happened. But when I looked, I saw something I had not seen in this piece. It used to look just like sand before. I saw, look at that, fire. I saw precious opal. Then on the other side, look at the color there. You have a band of orange there. So I started looking closer. And then Dave we were just looking at it together. And well, for one, you can see the orange coming out here. That on this piece, there's actually a band of color that extends away from here, and you can see it right there, orange, and it pops up multiple places kind of along, there's some more there, along the line here, and as you follow it here and get over here, look at this, look at the orangish red color right there in this piece. Here is, okay, so it's a bivalve mussel. You can see that, very well defined, 100-million-year-old. And so you can see the colors there. Then I got to looking on this side, and you can still see colors looking at it from there. And there is continuation of color. Dave's pointing it out. He can see it well along a line right from extending from the end there to, let me get that wet, give it that wet look. You can always spray it to give it that wet look so it kind of stays that way with different polyurethane sprays and whatnot. So there is a band of color. And look at this. You can see the layer of opal around. Now, here's the thing. Do we know if this becomes solid opal? You can see it's solid down here. At what point and what is inside? That's what Dave said. He goes, yeah, I said, I wonder all the time. He goes, you sell an item for, a few dollars, and inside it could be something, thousands of dollars. I said, I know. That's always the gamble that you take. Look at that. Look at the orange there. It's not even wet, and you can see the fire. So you can always do a surface polish on these. You do take away some of the ridges that are natural. Look at that. Look at that on the end. But you can polish it to bring out the color, because you can see this coarse surface really cuts down on the visibility of the fire. But without a doubt, with the there it is. I actually see there's the orange. There's the band coming right through there, and you can see it extend right into here. And so you can see just that glassy nature of the opal, very well defined. So this, in the world of opalized fossils, this is actually quite a nice quality. There are many that are so much worse that are found, but there's only so many found, period. Yeah, look at that. I can really see that color band through there. So it would be one of those items that you could have a lot of fun. See, all this could be cleaned off. You could take one of those little, electric, battery operated, toenail or fingernail polishing items like I had brought in and showed you to use it, and you could clean up a lot of this other material yourself. And for the amount of money, you can't really, destroy something worth a fortune. It's not going to be that much. Price on this, well, you're going to believe it or not, it's only $88. Only $88. So less than, $1 carat. You have something really unique and unusual. And what a cool specimen you would have to display in your cabinet. An opalized 100 million year old mussel shell. That is quite the neat treasure to have. Okay, now, since we're on opals, and now you might have caught a glimpse of this before. Let's look at item 108 2022. 108 2022. And wow. All right. So this is kind of like Mr. Anthony sawing on his thunder egg and coming up with that very cool cat that was in the design naturally. Well, look at what I cut. I cut into a Macesso opal and got a butterfly, and it almost has both of the antennas, but that certainly very much a butterfly look. I put a light spray on it, so that's what you're seeing, this little reflection here. And this is a stunning piece of the chocolate opal. The Macesso opal was the first Ethiopian opal found, long before the Wello crystal opals. And it was a very unstable opal. Most of it actually truly crazed, but it was not did not have hydrophane properties, but was this unusual, unique chocolate color tone to the body color, which was really different and unique in the opal world. So look at that. So my idea was just to put a polish or a light dome on the top of it to show the and bring out the fire. That would be a beautiful look to it. Now, let me turn it over and show you the other side. Look at this. Look at this. So you have the natural face to it. Look at all those colors. The greens, the fire. So you could, there's another animal. There's our dolphin or a shark maybe right there. Let's see what we have there. Not much I can see in that one, but wow, look at the fire. I love it. The green against the chocolate color is really beautiful. The reds are amazing. And this has a few of the craze lines in it, but that would be to be expected. So this is a really neat piece. This would be the really side to show off. And think about a collection where you'd have a 100 million year old opalized clamshell, and then a butterfly in the Macesso Ethiopian opal. Really completely different animals, so to speak, figuratively, even though chemically the opal is similar, but the looks are, and the way it's exposing itself to us humans, completely unique. 100-million-year-old fossil, and then a opalized nodule there of a very unique color. Price on that is going to be an opportunity. The butterfly nodule is what I called it, and with that neat pattern, it's only $78. Only $78 on that piece, and what a neat treasure. Because it's one of those that, you know, try to find another one. How many opals would you have to saw or work with and then trying to find something that ends up looking like a natural animal? Quite a few. That was just one of those flukes, and fortunate to have had it happen. Okay, let me get here. Yikes. Okay, we got a little time. Just trying to keep up. We don't have as much time as I thought, but we'll do what we can. Let me get to the items I wanted to show you. And this is one of the greatest treasures for what it is. This is item 1082722. 1082722. Now, as much as Raven likes this, you will probably only get the one opportunity at presentation to buy it. So it's not going to come back at a cheaper price. It's, you know, it's one of her prized possessions, but you know, we all have to sacrifice and do what we have to do. This is museum quality, what I am getting ready to show you. I'm getting ready to get this set up for you. It's going to come with a metal stand, so you know right away it's something special, and there's a couple different ways to display it. But as I bring this in front of you, let me show you. Look at the size of this. Okay, so, yeah. Hold on, let's see. We have 1082722. Okay, this is an outstanding specimen. Now, I'm going to take it off the stand now, but you can see you can display it in many different ways on the stand, because you may even want to use a plastic one, because let me show you just real quickly before we get into the details. Look at the back. Look at this. Yeah, a double-sided piece. So let's start right here. What we have first are the calcites. They are manganese calcite. And manganese calcite actually has it's not just a small impurity. It's actually a chemical formula of, instead of CaCO3 for calcium carbonate and calcite, it's Ca, then comma Mn in parentheses, then CO3. So basically, what I read was a lot of times there's an equal amount of manganese. So there's a good deal of manganese, and it gives it that pink hue. Not only the pink hue, but it causes it to be beautifully fluorescent. These calcites are, pink calcites are stunningly orange fluorescent, orange-red fluorescence. Okay, now, there is so much to look at. Look at the scalenahedron, or also known as dogtooth calcites. So you have the pink calcites, and then look at these. Look at how sharp they are, and hence why they're called dogtooth, the crystal system scalenahedrons. And they are dotted everywhere, some of them doubly terminated. Look at some sitting on not only pyrites, and you can tell the pyrite because of the cubes everywhere, but you have sphalerites. So they are sitting on, let me get my pointer, some incredible sphalerites. Then, oh, look at this. As Dave is taking us in close, you can see the incredible calcites mixed in. But let's look at one he had in focus. Look at this. Okay, so many of the quartz crystals, like this one right here, has little micro quartz crystals. Look at the little tiny quartz crystals on the surface of a tiny crystal. Look at this one back here. You can see the little tiny crystals perched on top of it. This is, when you are looking at this closely, this is what makes this so outstanding, is the many different stages of growth. So you had these original quartz crystals that grew, then another layer came back in, and then dotted them with micro quartz crystals over the top of them. And as we come and round ourselves back out, and come, okay, now, look at that. We have beautiful sphalerites. You have pyrites dotted around. And we're only looking at a very small area of this. Okay, look at the way these calcite crystals have formed. Very unique crystal formation. Now let me show you. This is what's amazing. At some point, let's look at this from a little further out. Perfect, Dave read my mind. Look at this. Okay, there was another crystal. I'm going to say or think that, I hate to use that word assume, but probably was a calcite crystal, but in some manner it was etched away and dissolved away. You can see where the form was. But then look what happens. Another at another point of this specimen's growth in the pocket was another layer of growth, of additional, look at these crystals of calcite. Look at this. So, look at back here. Let me remove that hair, but you know, you never know. It could be some kind of other crystal. Look at these. Look. All right. And as we go up the mountain and continue up, look again now at, look at the pink cast. Now, pink manganese and calcite doesn't get super pink. Now, sometimes you'll find it that way, but most time it's just a nice light pink color. I love the form to the crystals. Now, as I look here, let's look right here. Let me show you what I found as we come in on this. What I was noticing, you see that yellow? Okay, look at yellow then to silver. That is the interior of a lot of these sphalerite crystals. Look at the exterior, okay? See the exterior, you have the, more of a classic color, but the interior is that, valuable, gemmy, yellow sphalerite color. And I had noticed that that is the case, look at this, with others. And we'll find that. Now, I'm holding this in my hand. No crystals are falling off, so it's a very sturdy piece. All right, you can see the size of this. Cabinet quality, size, and aesthetics. Again, here is, to me, the real showstopper, where you had another crystal that is very obviously had been etched away, then with another secondary or maybe tertiary growth of crystals forming in that space. Now, as we round the corner, we're going to, here's what catches my eye again. Let's go right here to this yellow. At first I thought, oh, that's chalcopyrite or another mineral. But when I was looking at it closer, again, boom. What I found was it is the interior of the sphalerite crystals. And I have never seen that situation. Oh, look at this. Look at how perfect. And what a classic crystal formation for sphalerite. That is something I just never had really seen before, where it is, if it had not broken off, I would have never known that it had a yellow interior. So you know what it made me really want to do? It made me want to break one of these crystals and see if that was in most of them. But see, as I look at this one right here at the edge, I can almost see into it, and it looks like the same thing, that there is a yellow translucency to transparency of the crystal inside of it. How amazing is that? Now, looking across this piece, there is so much to see. Hours and hours you can spend holding this and looking into every nook and cranny. There could be tetrahedrite if you study and learn what that looks like, and it's often found with these. So there may be tetrahedrites in this. This is one of those ore minerals that has, your pyrite, your sphalerite. It's heavy. It's got a nice weight to it. And look at in that pocket, back in there. How cool is that? I was trying to figure out where it was attached to the wall for it to grow on all these sides. And I thought, well, maybe here, but then I see crystals right here. So I wasn't sure about that. Then there was one other contact place right here. I thought maybe, so that would be the only place, this little small area, which allowed that it was had been connected to the primary wall of the where all this had formed, and that would be the spot. So it allowed all these other sides to grow out crystals. Look, here's another one of those yellow sphalerites. Look at this one. Look at this one shining up here. And again, look at the exterior. That's a perfect one to show you right here how the exterior is completely, a classic sphalerite, but then the interior, amazing, amazing. How unique is that? I have not actually seen that in other specimens. So that's a bonus. This, to have all these crystal forms and unique beauty. Look at, there we go. That's that one again at a different angle where you can see the elevation of the additional growth. And again, the fluorescence is stunning. This was a real closet piece. I was in the closet for a while looking at this one. And all the calcites really light up, especially the Manganoan ones. This is a large size. It is an impressive piece. And aesthetically gorgeous. You can see the yellows standing out really well from the sphalerites and all the other sphalerites. And what I think is amazing are the quartz have the additional growth of the microcrystals on them. All right, let me take you, let's look into one more little pocket here. I have a price on this that it's not going to be able to be lowered if I even get to show it again. See, look at all these, look at all this dusted with these incredible, beautiful microcrystalline growth on this. That tells you there's a whole nother, and then look, you have clear ones over here, just incredible. All right, so I could keep going on about this. Look at the yellows, sphalerites. But I'll leave the rest of the discovery to the lucky person that gets in on a true one of a kind. Look at all that. All right, so I don't even want to set it back in the stand. I'll just lay it right against there. Look at how big that is. Price on this, it is a stunning piece. So, you know, when you're dealing with the Peruvian mines, price on this is only, let me see what it, okay, yeah. With the stand, only $388. Only $388. So you have this Caspalca mine, the Pachapaqui, the Huron, the Wansala, and the Rocarancha mines. Those are your primary Peruvian mines. Now, I had offered and sold a Manganoan calcite piece, but it was very small, about this big or so, a couple months back, and it was from the Rocarancha mine. And there's very few that actually produce the Manganoan calcite specimens. But the Pachapaqui is probably the most famous one for producing the Manganoan calcites, and it is known for those. And that is where this piece is from that well-desired locality. This is from an older discovery from the 1970s, 1980s, when they were pulling out the better material. So what an opportunity from a very desirable mine, and it, you know, add fluorescence to the fun, the double-sided look to the fun, and you have something really, really special. Now, to add to the word really, really special, let me show you. All right, so let me have a moment. Let me tuck that away and get set up for something you haven't seen before. Be right back. Okay, yes, you've seen this before, but I may not have been making myself so clear as to the real value I am offering and the rarity in this morganite. Now, remember there were two of them, and I still have both of them. I'm just going to flash this one in front of you real quick so you can see the two different colors, okay? So you have the peach color and the pinkish color. You can't really tell one from the other until you put them side by side. Then you can see the difference. So I'm just going to take away the pink one for now, and let's talk about this one for the moment. You can see that this is an actual crystal that, from where this is from, it is one of the best known localities to get this very rare type of morganite. This is from the Uricum mine, or claim, and however that is actually pronounced in Portuguese. U-R-U-C-U-M. So this is from a very desirable location. Now, when you turn this on the angle and you see the light reflect all off the same plane, then you know that there is, and you see the same evenness to that, that there is a crystal form to it at some point. And then you start looking and you can start counting sides to what would have been the hexagonal shape. Now, what has happened is over time, another thermal hot solution came through and etched and dissolved away the morganite. Now, at times, other morganite can grow and fill in, or let me show you what Miss Gabby was able to get in one of the specimens I had. One of the things that can occur. We'll pull up the picture. Look at that. And look at how wonderful Asif is in what he was able to do. I found the picture. Instead of showing you on my crummy broken phone, he was able to put it into the corner. Now, this, what you're seeing is not the actual picture, but it is from the exact same mine that the specimen she got. And by the way, Miss Gabby, if the information wasn't on there at the time, but your specimen came from the Uricum mine, U-R-U-C-U-M claim, in Minas Gerais, Brazil. And it is, the tourmalines are even stated that have been found with the morganite, like you see in the picture, that is straight from Mindat. And it said that the tourmalines were independent of the morganite. So basically what they're saying is it freed them. It freed them. And I'm sure her crystal that grew inside a area where a larger one had been dissolved out, it appeared. And then another tourmaline came in and grew in that spot. And I'm sure it could be loosened or removed. It's got a room around it. I remember the piece, but it is exactly the same color tourmaline like you see in the picture. So I just wanted to show not only Miss Gabby, but everyone else how unique the situation is when in these etched specimens. So to get the tourmaline and get the tourmaline so similar, that's how you know a piece that you have is from the exact location, because all the geology and morphology of what is going on is exactly what has happened in previous accounts of other people's specimens that they have. The same color tourmaline, the tourmaline being loose or about to be loosened by the etching. And Miss Gabby's one is where a larger tourmaline was etched out and what appears to be a smaller one has started to grow in the same defined area, which is really, really cool. And so glad to see that someone in the family picked that one up. Okay, this piece is stunning. You can see the size of it. Look at the weight, 342 carats. And I have given it an amazing opportunity price-wise. If you actually look in here, it's facet grade material. Beautiful, beautiful facet grade, not treated, all natural color, and you could cut a large stone out of some of these areas, but of course, it's a much more desirable piece to leave it as it is in this rare etched form that is very desirable and collectible. But of course, yours, you could do anything. That would cut a gorgeous large stone. I can already see. Price on this, discounted even when I shouldn't do it. I am making it only $228. $228 on that morganite. What a jewel. What a jewel indeed that is. Now, let me show you something you have not seen before. This is item 108-1822. 108-1822. And wow, this is where also I wish I could speak a little Portuguese for pronunciation. Oops, hold on, wait a second. That was a different item number from another one. Okay, so I showed you a morganite from one of the best known and most desirable claims to have one from, the Ericum mine. Well, what I have never offered or showed you before was the most desirable aquamarine that is etched from the, well, if I could speak Portuguese, I might be able to better pronounce the Itatiaia mine, maybe something like that. But you can see in the graphic the word, when you put four vowels together in the English language, a little difficult, but it also comes with this box, which I showed you. Okay, so there's the box that originally came in. And before that, it had traveled with this label. So you have a lot of provenance by way of labeling. Now look at how beautiful this is. Etching is not something to be looked upon as something less than. It is something more than. It is desirable. You can see the different pockets where there might have been another mineral that etched out easier and quicker. Hydrothermal solutions, it can be of beryl itself, but tend to create the etching. It could be the same mineral, it could be something acidic, something different, but it's usually a hydrothermal type of solution that creates these very unique and desirable formations. And this one, just a real classic for that particular mine. Let me show you a picture straight from Mindat of another specimen from that mine. Look at that. That is straight off of the Mindat site. And I tell you what, these two specimens could be twins. They could be twins. So you can see in the inset picture that is a classic desirable aquamarine from that particular location, and that's exactly where this one is from as well. Natural color, you can see the size of it, and I have a price that is a excellent opportunity to add to your collection, especially if you already have a morganite or if you have other aquas and don't have something very cool like that one. It's only $178. $178. It'll have the labeled box, and wow, imagine that. Imagine that next to, look at the morganite. What a collection of barrel you would have. That's a barrel of fun. All right, with that, I'll be right back with the trivia.